Hello, 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 hello. How we all doing today? How's everything going on? Welcome to all our viewers. I want to welcome my awesome, awesome, awesome sisters in the house, my
Hey,
fellow world bridges.
hey,
Welcome Mudupe, welcome Adebola. How we all doing today?
blessed, highly favored. Good to have you here,
Awesome,
sir.
awesome, awesome. Adebola, how you doing?
Great to be back.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I would want to appreciate you, all our viewers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing and liking, all our previous episodes. And as we've been bringing you value in time past, today also promises to be another wonderful, wonderful episode. Today, we're going to be talking about building an emergency fund when everything is an emergency.
Hmm.
That is crazy. Just thinking about that even just drives me nuts. As an immigrant, I believe that's a topic that everybody even wants to know about. Wouldn't you agree with me, ladies?
I sure do.
Awesome.
Everything's
Exactly.
for your attention, which makes it like, oh my gosh, which one is which? Everything is an emergency.
Yes, you can see that again. Some of our last topics we've been speaking about, we spoke on a few topics just a few weeks ago. We talked about the lifestyle inflation. We talked about couples and money. And today, everything we've been talking about in the few weeks has been surrounding money. And we know money is very integral, money is very essential when it comes to the immigrant community and when it comes to any community, you know. But we're more focused on the immigrants. So, as we said today, we're talking about building an emergency fund when everything is an emergency. Financial stability is very, very important. We all know, and we cannot overemphasize the importance of that. There are, as immigrant families in most immigrant households, we face three simultaneous financial pressures. Number one, supporting families, abroad,
True.
helping relatives locally, and try to build a stability in a new country. So how do we really balance all these things when it comes to emergency? So Modupe, I would like you to just first, tell us, you know, what do we understand, by an emergency? What is an emergency? What is it? What comprises it of emergency?
When you hear emergency, you hear 911. How about that? All right, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. Hello, viewers. I hope you all can hear us. And if you have not subscribed yet to our channel, you are doing yourself a whole lot of disfavor. You know what? Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe, press the like button, subscribe button, and turn on your notification. I'm going to address your question, okay? So that was just the flip side of it telling you that's a 911. Anytime you hear an emergency, it is a very serious situation. So an emergency, for lack of better word in a layman language, I would say it's something that is unexpected, something that is urgent, something that is serious, something that is sudden. A situation that is sudden such that if it is not addressed immediately, might lead to loss of life, might lead to something really catastrophic, right? And in all honesty, it's calling for your attention. It's saying, you know what, deal with me. I need help. Now, three things I will look into before I can say, oh, this falls into the ballpark of what I'll call an emergency. Just like I said, if it is sudden or it is unexpected, this is something you weren't planning for. It happened all of a sudden. For lack of better word, I call it unforeseen contingency that comes knocking at the door. Now, if something is urgent, right? Like, oh, this is an urgent matter. it's going to lose somebody's life is probably, at stake. Somebody's, anything very close to you, like is at stake. Then that is also the second criteria. Then the other criteria is if it is necessary, meaning this is necessary. I have to do it. I mean, it's not a matter of ifs or buts. When it comes to the scale of preference, this is meeting the criteria. Now, let's make this a little bit relatable. Like I like to, talk about that. So in a situation whereby an individual is faced with what we call a job loss, that is an emergency. They were not expecting they were going to get, fired or laid off, right? And that happens unexpectedly, right? So that is an emergency. Medical crisis, right? You were not expecting to have that. That is an emergency. Now, essential car repair or home repair, in a situation of a flood or a tsunami or anything you were not expecting, right? Those are considered, catastrophe. Those are considered unforeseen contingencies. Then that is an emergency, or any sudden loss of income in a family or what have you. So all of these things are emergencies. And to be honest, I can go on, but just to wrap things up based on what is an emergency, it sure definitely goes beyond 911, brother.
Wow, that's awesome, and I really love the way how you just kind of like lay things down. And I want our viewers, I want our viewers to understand that, without structure in place, true emergencies and everyday obligations, they get mixed together. At times we can't decipher, but this makes it almost impossible to build savings when we can distinguish between true emergencies and everyday obligations. So the goal is for us to create financial boundaries and a clear system. And that's what we're talking about. So Adibola, could you share with us what would not categorize as an emergency? What would you say wouldn't be an emergency?
All right, thank you. It's good to be back here. I mean, to talk about things that would help all people. And I'm glad the way Mudupe started. Emergency fund is meant to for I would say for true unexpected necessary expenses, and she did mention that, and and for things that you must handle like immediately. So, but many people accidentally just drain their emergency funds on things that feel urgent but aren't actually emergencies. So let's talk about things like your regular monthly bills. Things that you know are coming every month. Those things should already be in your budget. You have your rent or mortgage, your phone bill, your internet, your utilities, your car payment, your insurance. These are expected expenses, not emergencies. We also have things like maybe your lifestyle purchases, wanting anything badly, and doesn't mean that it's an emergency. You need something. Oh, I love this thing. You just saw it. Impulse need. Those are not emergencies. So having a new phone, new clothes, those are not emergencies. A feature upgrade for your home, maybe a new TV or any kind of gadget. These are not emergencies. Vacation or trips. Travel is great. It's really great, but it should come from a separate savings category. All right. Example: family vacation, holiday trip, destination, wedding, and all those things. These are no emergencies. Your holiday and parties and holiday gifts and all those things that we do during the holidays, those are not emergencies too. All right. This happens every year, so they should be planned for. Okay. And some other things like predictable expenses, like your car expenses, home improvement. We just need to focus. Know what the emergencies are, like Mudupe mentioned some of them. Know those things that are your regular expenses and plan for them accordingly. I'm just going to stop there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Adebola. Buying those new red bottoms, that's not an emergency. I need you to understand that. Buying that new Gucci purse, no, it's not an emergency. You don't need none of all that. Buying that new Ferrari, maybe you could wait. It's not an emergency. I hope you get that. Well, thank you, ladies. Really, really appreciate that. And I hope our viewers are definitely taking a cue from everything that we're saying. It's very important for us to be able to separate what emergencies are and what emergencies aren't are. So one of the things that I want us to talk about as we're talking about emergency, it's very important that we know that there will be emergency plans that we put in place. How do we put emergency plans in place? What kind of plans should it look like? What should that plan look like? Modupe, can you chime in on that?
Absolutely. Now, when you sit down before any professional, in that space, there is no way you will not hear the word emergency fund. So it's not a cliche, people. It's real. So there is no way you won't hear them talk about that. Now, but this is the place where a lot of people drop the ball. When they hear about that, they literally think, wow, how can I really scale through getting through this? I love to say, take baby steps. Rome was not built in a day. Okay. Now, any single financial professional you sit down before will tell you, you need an emergency fund that is worth 6 months of your salary, right? Of your expenses, right? 6 months of your salary or 6 months of your expenses, as the case may be. And so you're sitting down, you're saying, how can I afford this? You're starting on day one. How will I be able to get there? How will I be able to achieve this? And that's why my school of thought will say, please take baby steps. Let's address what can we achieve in 1 month? What is that bill? What is that cost? What is that expense that you as a family will incur in a month? I'm sure it has a figure. Place a value on it. Now, walk towards achieving that 1 month. Maybe that's going to take you, I don't know. Maybe it can take you 1 month to get it done. Maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. You are going to be the decider. If you are able to scale through the first one, which is just 1 month worth of expense or 1 month worth of income in a particular fund base that you don't have access to just do your normal routine expenses, then you've scaled through. You're able to do the 1 month, you should be able to do the 3 months. So take it a step further. Stay consistent in it. Stay very determined and be intentional. And then you can do the 3 months, right? So 1 month literally will help you cover things, let's say in a month. That's it. What about 3 months? Now 3 months is going a little bit further, right? And that's how you're building your momentum and your financial stability muscles. Now, by the time you're done with the 3 months, you can do it again. You did it the first time. How about doing it again, right? And so now you would have established an habit. It become a ritual for you right now to get towards that. Every single client that we all sit down with, we have these conversations all the time. Do you guys agree? We sit down with them all the time and we have this conversation that, you know what? This is your foundation. You want to make sure that you have something to fall back to, right? And so when you're doing the 6 month, another thing we add on to it is this is not a fund you leave in your checking account, people. This is not a fund you leave in your typical savings account. This is a fund you will have to find what I call a high yield savings account. Okay, there are quite a few of these high-tech banks out there who are giving very competitive rates that you can actually get hold of between 3.5 to 4.4%. Instead of you putting it in a checking account or a savings account that is giving you 0.0 whatever percent, you can make this money work for you while you build momentum. Again, it's an emergency fund. In case there is something calling for its attention, those unforeseen contingencies come up, just like Debola talked about, not somebody calling you for an ashrebi, not somebody calling you for a celebration party, not somebody calling you for, you know what, because certain set of people are going on a trip and you say, well, I also have to go pepper them. I need to go on that trip, and then you take something out of your emergency. Unfortunately, the emergency is actually going to pepper you, you know. So the whole conversation, and I know Demola is going to take us there, is to establish a routine conversation around emergency funding. We as immigrant community needs to normalize this. If we call it emergency, let it be emergency. If we call it emergency, we shouldn't use it for something else than emergency. So to your question, we can build a structure around it. Start small, start little, but make sure you keep going. Never stop until you get to the tail mark.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, one of the things that I hear over and over and over again that echoes to me is this is not something that is optional. This is something that should be intentional.
It's imperative.
We have to understand that, emergencies always creep in when they're when you didn't plan for them, and that's why we call them emergency. You could be driving and you have a flat tire, that's an emergency. It wasn't planned for. But good points right there, and I love everything you just said. And one of the things that I wanted to just re-echo to our viewers is to understand that you don't have to jump to the 6 months. Start little, start with baby steps. Do the 1 month, then maybe graduate to the 3 months. Then if you could do the 6 months, fine. The more you could do, the better it creates that financial stability for you and your family. So the next thing I want us to talk about really, and I'm going to be talking to, I'm going to be asking, Debola to chime in on this is, some of the pressures that comes, family pressures that we need to guide against, especially when it comes to our savings. What are some of these, in an immigrant community, we're talking to our community right here. So some of the biggest risks, to savings is social pressure and expectations from different people. So how do we protect our savings from family pressure? Enlighten us with that, Adebola.
All right, let's talk about that. Protecting our savings, especially when family or community pressure, external factors are involved, we require both financial structure, Mudupe mentioned that, and also some very clear boundaries, right? You have to set boundaries. Some of the ways that we can do that is keep our financial goals private. It's not everything that we have to share. I would say share less and protect more. Keep your goals private. If you're doing something that is important to you, this is it's for your future. Not everybody needs to know. All right. Not everybody needs to know how much you earn or save. When people know you have money saved, they may assume that you can always help financially. That's just the truth. That's the truth. All right. So avoid discussing your salary or savings, balance. I don't know if some people do. Some people do. So you have to keep that private. Another thing that you can do is create a giving budget. When it comes to the family, to create a giving budget, right? What you plan, you need to plan for what you give out. Helping family is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but it should be intentional and limited. Instead of dipping into your savings, create a monthly support amount that you're going to give. If you're sending money home for upkeep, know what you're giving and try not to go outside that budget unnecessarily. It's not everybody that is going to call you or that they need something that you may be able to send money to. All right. And this will actually allow you to still be generous without destroying your financial progress. And also very important, learn to say no. Not right now. Learn to say no when not all the time, and learn to say not right now. There's nothing wrong in that. Oh, sorry, I can't help you now, but I will let you know as soon as I can. Many people struggle financially because they feel guilty saying no. But protecting your futures sometimes means that, delaying, or I would say declining requests. So you could use responses like, oh, I'm working on some financial goals right now, especially when you are doing that. I can't help this time, because you've helped before. But just learn to be able to say, I can do it now. Oh, I will do it later. Or no, if necessary. I don't know if Mudupe has anything to add, to this question.
To the pointers you've given. Thank you so much, Debola. I definitely, I would like to just chime in and give my little 2 cents there. You said something that was very pivotal. You said that helping family is very, there's nothing wrong in helping family. I agree. Helping family is very honorable. And you also mentioned something by saying that, you don't have to necessarily disclose to them, this is my salary and all that, because they will probably just know that, oh yeah, we can always come to, oh, Auntie Debola, she is this super rich auntie in the family. Let's go for her, right? So they don't just come for you and all the
That's an
time.
online business.
Yeah, she has an online business. She's all out there and she's doing so well already, right? So
Yeah, the ATM.
What if people just like they pretty much, some people have some perceived notion about you even without you telling anything. They probably would say, oh no, he's an aeronautic engineer. I know what is the average salary of an aeronautic engineer. So, they already have a set expectation for what you should do. How do you handle, such situation? So I'm throwing that out to the audience. If you know how to handle such, please put it in the comments, right? How to handle that. What I was actually going to add on was going to say that one of the things with structure, and I think our people need some level of giving them what it is really they should do. The structuring will come to the budgeting. When people still hear budgeting, it still sounds so vague, in all honesty. So if we try to break it down, your gross income is what comes, to you from your employer. That's your gross. However, before it comes into your bank account, right, they would have taken certain things out of it. If you're in North America, you'll be rest assured you're going to have to, do something that has to do with federal taxes, social security taxes, or Medicare taxes, right? And so whatever is left over is what goes into your bank account, which I call the net income, right? So now this is the net income you have to deal with, right? How do you allocate this? Very important. If you don't have a structure, just like Debola said, that's where I come in with my ratio. Many of our immigrant family, which we are the ones we're speaking to, right? They are people of faith. Maybe somebody is out there, I don't know, whatever religion it is, you choose to practice, right? If you're a person of faith, maybe you want to enact something, right, in that area, right? Let's give that 10%. Now we're left with 90%. Out of that remaining 90, 50 goes to your, spending, your bills, your mortgage, your rent, all of those bills. Just call it out. I'm down to 60. What am I left with? I have just 40. 20 should go to your retirement. No questions asked, people. We don't want to wake up in 20 years, 30 years later. And then we're looking at ourselves and ourselves is looking at us and saying, what happened? Auntie, why did you do this to yourself? This is your 30 years older person. What happened to you, right? So we ought to take care of that. What are our plans for retirement? And if you continue to follow us on this channel, these are the nuggets we're going to be letting out of the cat, letting the cat out of the bag, so that we can stay informed and do the needful. Now, 10% again to your area of faith, 50% to the bills, like I talked about, 20% to your retirement. We are left with what now? This is what? If you're a mathematician and you're following me, what would that be now? So we are 80% down. No. So we have 20 left. Don't worry, it's not that hard. The 10%, which we're talking about, put that towards your emergency fund, people. Mm-hmm. And then the remaining 10%, let it go to your incidentals. Out of this incidental, so you leave a leeway, oh, daddy, mommy wants to take the children out on a date and all that is coming from the incidentals. Yeah. Oh, daddy needs to take mommy out to that date night. It's coming from the incidentals. Daddy better be doing that because we want to keep the family really, really, I mean, I'm just being very practical and let's be relatable here, right? And mommy also can just decide to say, yeah, it's time to take daddy out, right? Very, very important. Mommy can say, well, I want to go have a spa day. It's coming from the incidentals. Now, once that 10% is exhausted, we better not say we want any date night out of the other ones we've taken care of. That is the structure we're talking about. So stay structured. You see, so it's broken down. We're giving you a structure. We're giving you a system to follow. Now, if you have any other system that you're already following, excellent, beautiful. As long as you have something you're working with, this will really help. And that will really address the question, that Debola had already talked about. It will help you to say, this is what we're working on right now. This is, if it is not in there, if it doesn't meet up, then we cannot help at that time. Then maybe we have to move on to the next month. Hopefully, right? It fits into the incidentals. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. Wonderful nuggets that you just thrown out there, and I want us to understand. I know what we're not saying that we shouldn't send money home or we shouldn't give back. That's not all we're
Mm,
saying. We're just saying as immigrants, trying to build wealth also in a foreign land. We also have to do right by ourselves because no Calvary is coming to save us.
yeah.
Each and every one of us at some time we're gonna get to that retirement age. So are we gonna ask for people from back home to send us funds back here? It's not gonna work. So
Mm,
as we're taking care of people back home, we need to also take care of ourselves here. And that's all we're just trying to talk about here. And remember, we're talking about wealth bridging. We're trying to build
To take
bridge
care of
that
yourself
wealth gap,
first.
you know, that's been broken. And if we don't start to implement some of these things, emergency funds, there is no way we're going to be able to, build that wealth that we're talking about. It would just be it would just be a dream. So one of the key things that I want to leave us with, today, one key principle is, a powerful rule of thumb that we should all understand that, we cannot rescue others if we're financially drowning ourselves. We can't. So financial stability allows you and I, number one, to help our families consistently to build generational wealth, invest for the future, protect, our household. So these keys are so, so, so important. Our next episode, we're also going to be talking. This is a tax season for us in North America. We're going to
mm,
be bringing a topic that's going to be so important about taxes. A lot of people don't even understand. You know, most most countries back home we probably don't pay taxes, or maybe tax is just being introduced to the system. But here, the tax system is something that's already been in play. So we're going to be bringing that to you on our next episode, trying to understand taxes as immigrants. So I want you all to stay tuned. Before we conclude, I actually want to say happy International's Women's Day. It's or month or week, whatever it is. I've been seeing so many things about international women. So I want to celebrate my wonderful sisters here. Happy
hey,
Thank
International
you, thank you,
Women's
thank you.
Month. You know, go, 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 go do your thing. But we want to appreciate you, all our viewers. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
thank
you,
you.
Debola, thank you, Modupe, for always
Yes,
bringing
sir.
value. And for all our viewers, please, we want you to continue to comment, continue to share this. If there are different topics you want us to address, please put it in the chat. That's why we're here. And I want you to understand, we don't have so much time, but we could always meet with you. We are all financial professionals here. So there are so many things that we can work. If you want us to work with you, on a personal level, on a one-to-one, we could work with you and really show you what it really looks like to really have a financial blueprint so that you can live a successful financial life. Till another time, I want to say thank you all. Be blessed, stay well, and we see you on the next episode. God bless. God bless this. All
Bye,
right, take care,
everyone.
lady.
Thanks,
Bye,
brother.
everyone.
Bye.